What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, we are in Madden 22. I know it has been a little bit since I have journeyed into the world of Madden, but I have the football itch, and I figured now, after I've been playing Madden for a little bit, I've got some good sliders down and the scouting updates out and all. Now would be a good time to start our franchise series. So, we are going to be the Chicago Bears. And with all the news coming out today about Matt Nagy, PJ Fleck, head coach PJ Fleck from the Minnesota Golden Gophers, is going to take over the Chicago Bears mid-season. Unforeseen move. Never seen anything like it in the NFL. Matt Nagy is out. PJ Fleck is in. It's going to be pretty crazy. So that's what we're going to run with as our head coach here. As far as scheme goes, we're going to run the New England offensive playbook, the Giants defensive playbook, which is just a base 3-4 on defense, and a multiple power run scheme on offense. So with this series, I'm going to do a little bit more of a strategic franchise, as we'll call it, more of a realistic thing. I have the Flasco, I think that's what it is, Flasco. I don't know, it's on the Operation Sports forum. Anyway, I have his sliders for all Madden, so that should be good. That should give us a pretty realistic set. I've played with them a good bit. They're really good sliders, at least at the best I've found so far. So that'll be interesting for us to play with. Hopefully that'll help prevent some of the issues that you run into with this game. But what I mean when I say I want a more strategic thing is not just the sliders being more realistic and whatnot. I want to actually scout the opposing team going in. Every video is going to have a whole scouting section in it of the other team. And, we're going to build a game plan that we want, specific things we want to attack, specific weaknesses we think they might attack. And we're going to call plays specifically for that. I have the play call cooldown on so that we can't just keep spamming plays even if I want to. And we're going to make just a concerted effort to make this like a real football series. And I think that is going to be a more fun, a much more exciting way to look at things. So let's just initially start. This is kind of the intro to the series video. So let's just go over the roster. We've got Justin Fields at quarterback. He is absolutely our franchise quarterback, at least for now. I don't foresee us moving in any other directions, but we will see how it goes. 75, 90 speed, good runner. He's got the star dev trait. Definitely an exciting thing. Let's go ahead and look in the lineup so we can see dev traits and stuff a little better. But yeah, very excited about Justin Fields, developing him with this New England playbook. You wouldn't think about it because they have Mac Jones, but the playbook is actually built with Cam Newton in it too. So there's some good quarterback run mixed in with the playbook in there as well. As far as wide receivers are concerned, we do have Allen Robinson. We do have Darnell Mooney. Past them, you got Damiere Byrd. He's a good deep threat. You have Marquise Goodwin, another good deep threat, but he's old at this point. Jakeem Grant, tiny, kind of a deep threat, but at 5'7", are you really a deep threat? I don't know. So wide receiver is a position of interest especially going forward, not just in this season, but going forward in particular. Not sure exactly what route we want to go there, especially because of what we're going to talk about in the draft class, which we will get to in a minute. We've also, at running back, we're pretty set with David Montgomery. We've got Damian Williams as well, who's a little bit on the older side there at 29. David Montgomery at 24 is in prime stage. And Khalil Herbert has been an absolute superstar out of Virginia Tech. So running back, honestly, we are kind of set up for the future. We'll see how that goes with re-signs and whatnot. As far as the offensive line, Jason Peters is ancient. I mean, absolutely ancient. 39, he's falling apart. Serviceable player for now. I don't see him being here next year. Just to be upfront about it, don't see him being here next year. Cody Whitehair, good offensive lineman for us to kind of hang on to, but again, at 29, he's kind of getting up there in age. You got James Daniels at 23, star dev. We're going to want to hang on to him. He's going to kind of be the guy we build our O-line around. Mustipher, young, serviceable, not very good. Going to look to improve there. And Elijah Wilkinson, again, similar story. Young, serviceable, probably going to want to look to improve that position. At tight end, we got the ancient Jimmy Graham here at 34. Don't expect him to be on the team long term, just to be honest. But we do have young and pretty dang impressive Cole Kmet here. Star Dev, 6'6", 260, 22 years old out of Notre Dame. He's somebody I definitely want to build around to some extent. I mean, he's tight end. You're not going to really build a team around him, but he's somebody that we're going to want to keep on roster for sure. Jesse James is serviceable. Can keep him on as a tight end 3. But tight end's a position we could also add depth. It's just not super high on the needs list right now because of how bad the O-line is, question marks at receiver and whatnot. So now let's head on to the defense. Now the defense is an interesting position group, to say the least, in my opinion. So you have Akeem Hicks, absolute stud, no doubt about it, but he's 31. Okay, how long do we hang on to him? Somebody that we could look to move on from now a little sooner rather than later to get some draft picks out of him or something, especially considering we don't have a first-round pick this year. Eddie Goldman, kind of a similar story, a little bit younger, might hang on to him for a little while. He's got the star dev, but he's kind of peaked in my opinion, but he might be good trade value. And again, similar story with Bilal Nichols, but at only 24, we're definitely going to keep him going forward. Past them, Mario Edwards Jr., not really anything I'm too excited about. Tonga, okay. I mean, for a backup lineman, it's not bad. And Blackson, again, nothing inspiring there to me. Jalen Johnson, corner 1 for this team right now. Definitely a corner I want to keep on the team, build around, bright future, absolute stud in my opinion. Definitely going to want to hang on to him. Past him, though, Vildor's, Shelley's okay, as is Artie Burns, so corner is a position of need for sure because we only have one good corner, in my opinion. We have a couple other serviceable guys if they were like corner 3s, but they're not right now, so that's a problem. Eddie Jackson, absolute baller at safety. He is 27, but we'll probably look to hang on to him for at least a few more years because there's some good years to milk out of him. Robert Quinn, on the wrong side of 30, normal dev 78. Don't know how long he's going to be around, to be honest. Danny Trevathan, similar story, wrong side of 30, normal dev 77. Probably going to want to look to move off him soon. Behind him, you got Ogletree, who's just not as good and also old. You got Christian Jones, also not very good and old. But you do have, in my opinion, the superstar of this defense, Roquan Smith. I think it's criminal he only has a star dev trait. I think he should absolutely have a superstar dev trait. But he's an 89 star dev beast of a middle linebacker at 24 years old. Number 5 ranked middle linebacker in the league. Absolute monster. We're keeping him as long as we can. And now we get to the most interesting player on this team as far as what we're going to do with him, in my opinion. And that's Khalil Mack. He's 30 years old. He's an X Factor, though. An X Factor pass rusher is something that you really can't find very often, if at all. But he's regressing, in my opinion. He's 30, and I don't think we're a team that can really compete right now. Maybe in, I think, probably a 2-year span we'll be competing. And he, with the team with so many holes, I don't know, we may be better served moving him than we would be hanging on to him. I mean, just looking at his stats and contracts here. This year, he has 15 tackles, or 15 solo tackles, 19 total, only 6 TFLs, and 6 sacks. So he's somebody who I know, fan favorite, superstar, absolutely everybody loves him, but also for the good of the team, somebody I could be looking to move on from, especially maybe package him with Akeem Hicks, and we could maybe move up and get a young defensive stud to build this defense around. And that's something we definitely need to do. We need to build up some draft capital because we have a lot of holes. Strong safety, Gibson, again, wrong side of 30. That's a common trend with this defense. It's an old defense with a couple good young pieces on it, mainly Roquan, Bilal Nichols, and Jalen Johnson. Hicks, Mack probably on the outs. Eddie Jackson and Goldman may be able to hang around for a little bit. Past that, though, look to see a lot of roster overturn here. As far as the special teams goes, we got Santos and O'Donnell. I don't see any real need to move on there. And returners, I'm not too worried about that. Either right now we have bigger fish to fry than that situation. So, that is the general roster overview. Let me go and make a quick run through the depth chart. We'll go through that, set our starters, make sure everything's looking right. Honestly, I'm going to go ahead and bump Herbert up over Damian Williams just because of how well he's been playing in real life. At receiver, everything here looks pretty good, to be honest. Everything's making sense to me so far. Yeah, everything looks good on the O-line. I already remember that. Keem Hicks. D-line looks fine, to be honest. Nobody I'm looking to move around. Defense as a whole looks fine. Here, probably just going to go ahead and slide Artie Burns up and move Vildor down one spot. That's not really a big deal. Returners, we're fine with Jakeem Grant. He's a very good return man. Third down back, yeah, we'll keep it this way for now. That's fine. Power back, definitely Montgomery. Slot receiver, we'll keep Goodwin there just because I'd love to have a good burner in the slot. That is always a great thing. Definitely want Mack as a pass rusher. Same with Robert Quinn. And then Goldman and Hicks on the D-line. You know what? Let's go ahead and move Bilal Nichols up to number 3 here. Not that it means he's going to start necessarily as a rusher, but he may get some playtime that way. And then definitely Roquan is the number 1 sub linebacker. Slot corner, I'm going to put Vildor there for now. And yeah, that's the quick depth chart. Nothing really to see there. We just went over it. I just wanted to make a few adjustments to the specialist players. So I guess the next big thing to look at is the draft class. Because I'm picking up this season midway through the season, actually beyond midway through the season, and to mitigate the scouting situation that I've been put in where I haven't been able to scout the whole time, I'm using the real life class. I downloaded a random class. I do not know the ratings. I don't know the development traits. I have a somewhat of an idea, obviously, because I follow college football really closely, so I know these players. But again, I don't know their ratings. I don't know their dev traits. I think that's pretty fair considering I don't get to scout this year for the most part. So we'll go a quick run through what I'm liking in the class. Quarterback, don't see anything that we need. We have Justin Fields. Maybe pick up a backup, maybe like a De'Aaron King because he can run pretty well. I don't know, a Bo Nix maybe, a Michael Penix, but in this case, Michael Pinks. Maybe an Emory Jones, somebody like that. Somebody who fits our running quarterback system as a backup, but not a big position of need there. Running back, Kenneth Walker's an absolute stud. So is Isaiah Spiller and Breece Hall, really. But we don't need a running back. I like Zamir White, but nothing I need. I really like Brian Robinson as well as a good power back, but again, not a position of need for us right now going forward. But this is a deep running back class, which is pretty standard. Running backs are a dime a dozen in the NFL. Wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, Treylon Burks, Olave, London. Honestly, all the way down to David Bell, really. I'm comfortable with any of these guys playing heavy minutes on this team. Even Wan'Dale Robinson, Justin Ross. I mean, this is a very, very deep receiving class. And any one of these dudes could start for us, most likely, with our receiving situation right now. Because I feel like we really need someone to go alongside Allen Robinson, or maybe if we lose or move on from Allen Robinson going forward. Receiver could be a huge need, and I'm a big fan of a lot of these receivers. It's definitely a position that, with it being this deep, we may have to hit on this year just because I don't know if we're going to see another receiver class quite this deep for a while. I mean, anytime George Pickens is a number 7 receiver and David Bell's number 9, I mean, my goodness. Tight end, I mean, Weidermeyer, Billingsley, McBride to Ruckert. I'm good with any of those guys. Ferguson's not bad either, so I like Isaiah Likely, but again, not a big position of need for us to focus on. O-line, Evan Neal's a beast. Past him, nobody really crazy, in my opinion. Maybe Wanya Morris, but Guard, I like Kenyon Green. I like Munford. I like Sawyer. Past that, again, kind of meh. Center, I think the top 4 are really good. Past that, right guard, I like Mays. That's kind of it there. Right guard's kind of a weaker spot here. As far as the right tackle goes, I really like Falele here, just mainly because he's 6'8", 380. That helps a lot. But I do really actually genuinely like him, especially with around 3-4 projection that he has here, which is really low to me. Might see that climb. I don't know. But I really like seeing him, and I realized I should have been favoriting these players, but I will go back and do that. Defensive end, top 3 I'm pretty good with. Adam Anderson, more of an outside linebacker type, not really a true DN, especially in our system. Most all of these guys would be outside linebackers. I like Jermaine Johnson, I like Myjai Sanders, and Adam Anderson. So, top 3 is good there. Kayvon Thibodeau is the best player in the class, just plain and simple. Just how it is. Aiden Hutchinson is also a beast, and Trayvon Walker is a really good third right end to have. Past that, it kind of drops off. Nolan Smith, another good guy, but, it kind of falls apart a little bit as we go down. Defensive tackle, my favorite player in the class, Jordan Davis, here as the number 2 D tackle. I understand Leal is a little more valuable in the next level because he's a pass rusher. I would love to pick up Jordan Davis, just to be honest with you. He's definitely going to be towards the top of my board if we can grab him. Devontae Wyatt, another guy I also like. Haskell Garrett, really like him. Like Fidarian Mathis, like Leal. So I'm going to go ahead and be putting all these dudes on our board for sure. Love that. Nakobe Dean, go ahead and put him down. I think he's the best linebacker in the class. He's listed here as an outside linebacker. For us, he'd be a middle linebacker. Probably going to go higher than we're going to be willing to take a middle linebacker, but still absolute beast. Past that, not too interested in anybody. Devin Lloyd, also an absolute stud, as is Brandon Smith and Christian Harris. I like To'o. Overshown could be a good coverage backer because he's converted safety. I like Papo. I really like Channing Tindall as a raw athlete. Past that, though, Quay Walker's pretty solid, too, but not much going there. Karlaftis, absolute stud. I think he's much more of a down lineman, like a 4-3 DN than he is a 3-4 outside backer, but whatever, I did make the class. But he is an absolute stud. He could definitely be somebody we look at. And I really like Kingsley Enagbare as well, another really good pass rusher. But he's kind of a raw prospect, but he could definitely work out for us. Corner, Derek Stingley. If Thibodeau's not the number 1 player in the class, Stingley is just an absolute stud. Kaiir Elam's really good. Roger McCreary is very good. Booth, Gardner. The top 5 here at corner is just stacked. Storm Duck is also good. Kendrick also good. Josh Jobe. It's a deep corner class, which is good for us. I like Caleb Evans a lot, too. Tywan Mullins, not bad. I like Isaac Taylor Stewart, and I also like Tyree Stevenson. I'm putting all these guys on the board. I put Sevyn Banks on the board, too, actually. Just because corner's a big need for us, in my opinion. Kyle Hamilton, best DB in the class by far, absolute stud. And then past him, I really like Lewis Cine, and I like Dax Hill. I like the way they play. Tyke Smith, Strong safety, honestly, to me, it's just a really weak class. I like Josh Proctor. I like Smoke Monday. That's about it. As far as that goes, don't care about kicker punter. So that is where we're standing on the class. I will go ahead and put some more people on the board real quick. Just because I forgot to earlier. But yeah, that's where we're standing on the class. I don't know exactly where I want to go with it, but I feel good. I feel good about our options here. I feel like we can definitely hit on a large number of players, but it just depends on where we get draft picks at. There's a lot that has to go right for us, and I don't know if it will. We'll have to see. And without us having a first-round pick, we're definitely going to have to trade if we want to get into the first round, and I think it would be a good year to do that. A lot of really good non-quarterbacks in this class, but I don't know. We'll just have to kind of see where that goes for us going forward. So after that, we'll look into the player negotiations that we have to deal with right now, and this is where things get interesting for us, similar to what we were talking about with the roster turnover. I'm probably going to try to re-sign most of these guys, and then if we decide that we want to move on from them, then we will move on from them in the offseason because I've already missed the trade deadline. So Akeem Hicks is definitely somebody I want to probably try to re-sign and then move because I think we can get some good value out of him. I'd like to keep Allen Robinson if we can get him on a favorable deal. James Daniels, I'm going to just go ahead and negotiate with him. See if I can get him on a long-term deal. Maybe lowball him a little bit. Come on. Okay, he wants more money. Typical. Let Damian Williams walk. Let Gibson walk. Gonna want to bring back Bilal Nichols, though. Try to get as many of these young guys on a long-term deal as I can. Okay, so we got Bilal Nichols back. Let Jason Peters walk. Let Graham walk. We're just going to let Bird and Goodwin and Grant walk. Let Andy Dalton walk, too. We'll bring back O'Donnell just on a cheap deal. Hopefully. Okay, he wants more money. Well, then maybe we won't bring back O'Donnell. Bring back Artie Burns on a 2-year if we can get him kind of cheap. That shouldn't be too bad. Everybody wants more money. Probably let Ogletree walk and Jones. We'll bring back a Fetty. He still has some potential for us. We'll just give him the straight-up fair offer. And he wants more money, too. Goodness, man. This is not a good start for the re-signs. Bring him back, Wilkinson back here, because he's a starter for us. All right, so we got him back. Don't want him to be a starter going forward, but he's a serviceable backup, worst come to worst. Most of these guys, though, we're probably going to let walk. And then let's go back here. Let's see if we can bring back Akeem Hicks on a 2-year deal. Doesn't have to be too friendly for us. You want more bonus, that's fine. These are things we'll have to address in the next episode. Allen Robinson's deal, that's a lot, man. That is a lot. We could definitely move him. Yeah, so I think that's going to be the plan. I think the plan is going to be to re-sign these guys and move them if we can. If we can't, then we can't. But if we can, I think that's definitely going to be the plan going forward. So that is where we are with the roster, with the re-signs, with the scouting. As far as staff goes, I don't have any staff points to put in. We got a brand new head coach, and I don't really care too much about our coordinator situation currently. Plans for the series, as far as this season's concerned, we are 3-6. Making the playoffs is a long shot, and I don't think this team is ready to compete at all for the playoffs. We're not the worst in the division, though. Going forward, the Packers probably going to lose Aaron Rodgers. The Vikings don't scare me with Kirk Cousins, and the Lions certainly don't scare me at 0-8-1. So I think the biggest things we need to address long-term, getting some draft capital, turning over an older roster, and building around Justin Fields going forward. I really would love to build a dominant defensive front. Ours is getting old. And build like a Bears type defense with a solid offense led by Justin Fields. But as far as this year's concerned, just kind of get comfortable with the team, see if we find any breakout stars we like, and plan ahead for the future. But as far as the intro video is concerned, I think that basically covers all of it. Like I said, I'm using the Operation Sports sliders, so things should be more realistic. I'm playing on 12-minute quarters, and I've got the sliders, I've got the XP sliders, and it should make for an interesting and realistic series going forward. That's the plan, at least. We'll tweak things as we go, especially based off of the feedback I get and all. But yeah, that'll do it for this one, just for the intro video. I'll be back pretty quickly with the first few weeks of the series. I'm excited to get into this one. But if you've made it this far in the video, you are awesome. Thank you so much. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. And I will see you guys next time.